Hi everyone, this is Pete here. So welcome to this weekend's event, and right now I'm going to go into more about the stock market. Okay, now for those of you who don't know me yet, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Pete. I'm a portfolio manager here in Singapore, and my focus is primarily the stock market. So how is it relevant this weekend where you guys are really talking about cryptocurrency and metaverse? The relevance is that they are all functioning in the same financial market, right? When there's high liquidity, the prices goes up, be it cryptocurrency or is it in the stock market. So I want to go in deep today to ask this one question, which is, are we at the bottom yet, right? Many people are now at the sideline waiting and waiting. They're not quite sure whether it's the time to pull the trigger. So I just want to say that none of what I say is investment advice. I'm just sharing with you what I see in the market, and I hope that it is useful for you guys. All right, so let's go into it. Now, the first thing is that you must understand that this is the first time that the global liquidity went into the negative since the pandemic started, right? So you can see in the last period where we had a negative was actually during the COVID period, right? So right now we are going to negative again, and that just means that the amount of liquidity in the market is really shrinking. Now, the second thing is I want to look at production. Now, the biggest powerhouse in the whole earth is United States, right? And the United States production is actually slowing down. Now, you can see that for the US PMI production manager index, right, where they ask the managers going forward, do you feel confident about the market? If you do, right, then they will spend more money. But if they see that they're spending less, that means they are less confident about selling their goods later on. And you can see right now, it's also since the pandemic that we had kind of like a dip, right? Before that, we were coming out from a negative, and now we're going back to a dip. And why is this important? Because a dip has traditionally signified a start of a recession. All right. And the third point is that we want to look at the most important player in the whole sector, and that is the Federal Reserve, right? Jerome Powell in the recent minutes talked about how they're going to treat this whole inflation and how are they going to raise the interest rate. Now, many people look for good news, and in fact, the market was up after this news came out, which kind of puzzled me because the news was actually not that great, right? So Jerome Powell is still pretty hawkish in general. You can see that he talks about they're going to go with multiple 50 basis point, multiple, right? And they mentioned that they're going to go into restrictive territory. The only good news is that they say they're concerned about the financial stability of the market if they continue to tighten. So I think people just want to look for good news at this point in time. And to me, that is a very strong sign that also I do not think we are at the bottom yet, right? And where's number we're going to look out for Jerome Powell is that he talks about targeting the 2% inflation rate, right? So if inflation can really go down to that level with hard evidence, that's when he will consider, right, stepping off from tightening, okay? And in fact, this was something that we have already talked about in our community, right? We run an investing community, and this was actually in March where I talked about, guys, we are already in the bear market and perhaps a starting of a recession. Why is that the case? Because really the high factor of interest rate will have already triggered that to happen. Now, one of the ways to really tide across all this that I personally talked about is to invest across different asset class. It's just like what you guys are here doing in the cryptocurrency and the NFT world. Now, personally, I am not very adventurous in the cryptocurrency world. I mainly invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum because these two guys are the biggest giant, right? So if liquidity flows back, that's when we will see a large amount of cash flowing back into cryptocurrency, okay? Now, another thing that gives me the pause is that just by looking at the chart, right, I do not think that we are at the bottom yet. Why is that the case? Now, this is the S&P 500. So if you look at technical analysis in terms of how the trend is moving, and this is something that we teach in our community as well, right, is that the downtrend is still pretty much intact. But people say, hey, Pete, it has fallen so much already. Surely it has come to the bottom. And to see that, we just need to expand outwards and see that really we are still quite far from the support level. Now, where are the support level? Basically, you can see that in the past crisis period, we have always come back here to this red line. In fact, in 2020, we even went below the red line. Thankfully, it was just a very short period and then it recovered very quickly. So, for the S&P 500 to bottom out from a technical perspective, right? When we teach our students, we always say, look at the chart in front of you. Do not try to predict the chart. So over here, it is very clear that we are still not at that level yet, right? Which is why I've been telling the community that the current market is this. My view is that I think we are still in the mid-cycle of a slowdown, right? And that's because liquidity is tightening, the growth is slowing down, and one thing is this, the Federal Reserve is not letting up, right? Many people say right now, hey Pete, there's blood on the streets. This is borrowing an adage from Warren Buffett, right? He said, when you see bloods on the street, you should go and invest. Now, I just want to expand on that phrase a little bit further. I do not just want to see bloods on the street, because having blood on the street just means that you are still bleeding. I want to see the knight in shining armor, okay? And that is none other than Jerome Powell in this case, right? I want to see that Jerome Powell come and save the market, right? I want to see more than just blood. I want to see action taken by the Federal Reserve. And in fact, if you look at back then in 2008, the bottom was right after the Federal Reserve back then has decided to stop raising rates, okay? So this is something of my opinion. I'm really looking forward to that. Now, having said all that, okay, I want to really bring value to all of you here because I've only a very short period of time with you guys. And is what can you do in this market, all right? And over here at options side, we specialize in options, okay? Me and my trainers, we teach students how to invest through options. And actually, you can do that for cryptocurrencies as well. So I just want to give you a very simple example trade that we did live with our students, okay? And it is on one of the biggest banks in the United States, Bank of America. And we implemented the strategy called BOSS. Now, this is one of the 3 strategies that you will learn when you join us at our options class, right? And that's basically selling a put option on a company that we really like and to collect premium, okay? So we are basically promising to buy the stocks at $36, and in return, we are given $55 worth of premium. Now, what does that translate into? Why is options my go-to strategy right now, even in the bear market? Because you can determine the price, you can determine the premium, right? You have control over everything. And I think right now, many people, when they are investing, they are losing control. They see their portfolio keep dropping and they have no way of taking back control of the portfolio, right? So coming back to here, what is the ROI? In fact, we did this for just a week, right? This was done on 6 April, okay? And the premium would have been 1.5% ROI, right? If you take the premium, divide by the amount of cash you need to execute. So 1.5%, I think that's fantastic. If you extrapolate it, really, it will come down to 75% annually. Now, I don't want to sell you too much of a dream here, right? But think about it. Let's say if I only did it half the time, right? I'm not staring at the screen all the time. I'm just doing it 1 month and then the other I don't do, and I'm very, very chill about it. I would have still arrived at about 35% in this case, right? So the end result is, what happened to that trade is that actually Bank of America stayed above $36, so we are not required to buy those shares and we just keep the premium. And what do we do next? Those of you who attended our class, you will know, is to repeat the strategy again, okay? All right, so that's the main thing I want to share with you guys, is that in the market right now, there are still things to be done, because many of you are talking about, hey Pete, it's a bear market, what can I do? There's nothing I can do. If I buy anything, I'll lose money. The alternative is looking at options, okay? All right, so I just want to thank the organizing team for granting me this moment to share with you. I just want to share very quickly about the program that we have. This is actually a complimentary class that we have to introduce to you guys about options. So if you guys are new to options and you want to learn more about options, do attend this class. It's called Options Insider Secrets. Okay, in this 2-hour sharing, we'll share with you the 3 strategies that I talked about just now. You have already heard one of them, which is BOSS. And really, it's a complimentary class. So if you would like to, you can apply right now. The link is over here, rebrand.ly/optionsintro. Now, if that is too hard for you, don't worry about it. Whip out your phone right now and just scan this QR code and you can register for this free class. Okay, all right, that's all I wanted to share with you guys. Once again, all the best in your investing. All right, if you're new to options, do join us for this class and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.